Two babies are born on the same night, twins who share the same blood but are about to be separated by violence that will change their lives forever. In the middle of a celebration in Hong Kong, their parents, powerful business figures, are suddenly ambushed by ruthless criminals. The attack is brutal, fast, and merciless. Amid chaos, gunfire, and betrayal, their parents are murdered right in front of them. One child is taken away into the shadows while the other is saved by a loyal family friend. From that night on, the twins grow up in completely different worlds, unaware of each other's existence, until fate decides to bring them face to face again. If you love intense action stories with powerful twists like this, make sure to follow the channel and hit like, because this story is just getting started and it only gets crazier from here. The movie we're diving into today is Double Impact, a classic action film released in 1991 starring Jean-Claude Van Damme in a unique dual role. The film was made with an estimated budget of around $15 million and quickly became popular among action fans for its explosive fight scenes and the rare concept of one actor playing twin brothers with completely different personalities. Set across locations like Hong Kong and the United States, the movie blends martial arts, revenge, and emotional drama into one intense storyline. The story begins years after that tragic night, One of the twins, Chad, has grown up in the United States under the guidance of their family friend Frank, who saved him during the attack. Chad lives a comfortable life, raised with discipline, education, and a sense of control. He is charismatic, confident, and well-mannered, completely unaware of the dark past he comes from. To him, life is normal. He has no idea that somewhere in Hong Kong, his own brother is living a completely different life. The other twin, Alex, wasn't so lucky. He grew up on the dangerous streets of Hong Kong, surrounded by crime, violence, and survival struggles. Without a family to guide him, Alex becomes tough, aggressive, and street smart. He gets involved in smuggling and underground dealings, learning to fight not for honor but for survival. Unlike Chad, Alex knows pain, betrayal, and hardship. He trusts no one and lives every day as if it could be his last. As the years pass, Frank, the man who saved Chad, never forgets the promise he made to one day reunite the brothers and take revenge for their parents' murder. He has been quietly gathering information, tracking down the criminals responsible, and waiting for the right moment. Finally, that moment arrives. Frank decides it's time for Chad to learn the truth. Chad is shocked when Frank reveals everything, the truth about his parents, the attack, and most importantly, the existence of his twin brother. At first, Chad struggles to believe it. The idea that he has a brother out there living a completely opposite life feels unreal. But as Frank shows him proof and explains the past in detail, Chad realizes that his entire life has been built on a hidden truth. Determined to find his brother, Chad agrees to travel to Hong Kong with Frank. For Chad, this journey is not just about revenge, it's about discovering a part of himself that he never knew existed. As he steps into the chaotic, dangerous world of Hong Kong, everything feels unfamiliar. The streets are rough, the people are unpredictable, and danger seems to be everywhere. Meanwhile, Alex continues his life in the underworld, dealing with criminals and staying one step ahead of enemies. He has no idea that his past is about to collide with his present. His life has been shaped by survival, and he has built walls around himself that no one has ever managed to break. When Chad finally comes face to face with Alex, the moment is intense and filled with tension. Instead of an emotional reunion, their first meeting turns into a confrontation. Alex doesn't trust Chad at all. To him, Chad looks like a stranger pretending to be something he's not. The fact that they look identical only makes things more confusing and suspicious. Chad tries to explain the truth, but Alex refuses to believe him. Years of living in a harsh environment have taught Alex one thing: never trust anyone easily. The idea that this well-dressed, calm man is his twin brother feels like a trick, a setup. Something is off and Alex is not ready to accept it. Frank steps in and reveals more details about their parents and the attack. Slowly, Alex begins to see the truth. The memories, the emotions, the pieces of his past that never made sense before, they start coming together. For the first time in his life, Alex realizes that he is not alone. But even after accepting the truth, the brothers are completely different. Chad is calm and strategic, while Alex is aggressive and impulsive. Their personalities clash constantly, leading to arguments and tension. Working together is not easy, especially when both have been shaped by entirely different experiences. However, they share one thing: revenge. The men who killed their parents are still out there, powerful and dangerous, and now the twins are determined to bring them down. But to do that, they must learn to trust each other, understand each other, and fight as one. As the story moves forward, the brothers begin to train together, combining their strengths. Chad brings discipline and technique, while Alex brings raw power and street fighting skills. Together, they become stronger, more dangerous, and more focused than ever before. But their enemies are not weak. They are deeply connected, heavily armed, and always one step ahead. The path to revenge will not be easy, and the brothers will have to face challenges that test not only their strength but also their bond. And just when things start to come together, a new twist changes everything. The tension between the brothers doesn't fade after their first meeting, it grows even stronger. Chad tries to stay calm and focused, believing that they need a clear plan to take down the people responsible for their parents' murder. But Alex doesn't work like that. He acts on instinct, on anger, on years of built up rage that he has never had the chance to release. For him, this isn't about strategy, it's personal. As they begin spending more time together, the differences in their personalities become impossible to ignore. Chad wakes up early, trains with discipline, and thinks before making any move. Alex, on the other hand, lives like every moment could be his last. He drinks, takes risks, and doesn't care about consequences. Their arguments become frequent, sometimes even turning physical, as neither is willing to back down. Despite this, Frank knows that both of them are essential. Separately, they are strong, but together they are unstoppable. He starts pushing them to train as a team, forcing them into situations where they must rely on each other. At first, it doesn't go well. Their timing is off, their coordination is weak, and their trust in each other is almost non existent. One day, during a training session, things go too far. What starts as practice turns into a real fight between the two brothers. Punches land harder, kicks become more aggressive, and years of frustration explode in that moment. Chad tries to control himself, but Alex doesn't hold back. For him, this fight is more than training. It's a way to release everything he has been holding inside. But in the middle of the fight, something changes. They begin to understand each other's rhythm. Chad starts adapting to Alex's unpredictability, while Alex begins to recognize Chad's precision. For a brief moment, they move in sync, almost as if their connection goes deeper than words. It's the first sign that they can actually work together. Meanwhile, Frank continues gathering information about the criminals who destroyed their family. The main targets are Raymond Zhang and Nigel Griffith, powerful figures who control major criminal operations in Hong Kong. They are not just ordinary gangsters, they are smart, ruthless, and always protected by layers of security. To get close to them, the brothers need more than strength, they need access. Frank comes up with a plan. They will infiltrate one of the criminal operations connected to Zhang and Griffith. It's risky, but it's the only way to get close enough without alerting them. Alex, with his background in the underworld, becomes the key to making this plan work. He knows the streets, the people, and how these operations function. Chad, however, struggles to fit into this world. Everything feels unfamiliar to him. The way people talk, the constant danger, the lack of trust, it's the complete opposite of the life he has known. Alex notices this and begins to mock him, calling him soft and inexperienced. But Chad doesn't back down. He knows that if he wants to avenge his parents, he has to adapt. As they move forward with the plan, the brothers enter a high stakes environment filled with dangerous individuals. Every move they make is being watched. One mistake could expose them, and if that happens, there will be no escape. During one of their operations, things take an unexpected turn. A deal goes wrong and a fight breaks out. Without warning, the brothers are forced into action. This isn't training anymore, this is real. Enemies surround them, weapons are drawn, and survival becomes the only priority. At first, chaos takes over. Alex jumps into the fight aggressively, taking down enemies with brutal force. Chad hesitates for a split second, but then his training kicks in. He moves with precision, using controlled techniques to handle multiple attackers. Despite their differences, they start covering each other's weaknesses. For the first time, they fight as a team. The combination of Alex's raw power and Chad's discipline creates something dangerous. They move faster, hit harder, and think smarter together. Enemies fall one by one, unable to handle the unexpected coordination between the twins. After the fight, something shifts between them. The tension doesn't disappear completely, but there is a new level of respect. Alex begins to see that Chad is not as weak as he thought, and Chad realizes that Alex's instincts are not reckless, they are necessary. But their victory doesn't go unnoticed. Word starts spreading in the criminal world about two identical men causing trouble. Zhang and Griffith become aware that something unusual is happening. At first, they don't know the full truth, but they sense a threat, and in their world, threats are eliminated quickly. As the brothers continue their mission, they get closer to uncovering the truth behind their parents' murder. They learn more about how Zhang and Griffith planned the attack, how they took control of their family's business, and how they have been operating without fear ever since. This only fuels their determination. However, danger is closing in. Zhang decides to investigate personally. He sends his men to track down the source of the disruption. Slowly, the net begins to tighten around the brothers. Their faces are being recognized, their movements are being monitored, and their time is running out. Frank realizes that they need to act fast. If they wait too long, they will lose the element of surprise. He pushes them to move to the next phase of the plan, direct confrontation. But this is where things become even more dangerous. To get close to Zhang and Griffith, they must attend a high-level gathering, a place where the most powerful criminals come together. Security will be tight, and any sign of suspicion could mean death. It's the perfect opportunity and the perfect trap. As they prepare for this mission, the pressure builds. Chad focuses on the strategy, going over every detail to minimize risk. Alex, however, is ready to walk straight into danger without hesitation. Their approaches are different, but their goal is the same. Before the mission begins, there is a quiet moment between the brothers. For the first time, they talk, not as rivals, but as family. It's not emotional or dramatic, but it's real. They both understand what's at stake. This is not just about revenge anymore. It's about finishing what was started years ago. As night falls, they step into the most dangerous phase of their journey. Inside the gathering, everything looks calm on the surface. Powerful men laugh, drink, and talk business. But beneath that calm is tension, suspicion, and hidden violence. The brothers must blend in, act normal, and wait for the right moment. But just as things begin to go according to plan, something goes wrong. The atmosphere inside the gathering is tense even though everything appears calm on the surface. Chad and Alex move carefully through the crowd, surrounded by powerful criminals, each one more dangerous than the last. Every conversation, every glance, every movement feels like it could expose them at any second. Chad stays focused on the plan, scanning the room, identifying exits, guards, and possible threats. Alex, however, is already on edge, his instincts telling him that something isn't right. As they move deeper into the gathering, they finally spot their targets, Raymond Zhang and Nigel Griffith. The two men stand at the center of attention, confident and untouchable, as if the world belongs to them. For a moment, everything slows down. The faces of the men who destroyed their family are right there, within reach. Years of anger, pain, and loss build up inside both brothers. But Chad signals Alex to stay calm. This isn't the moment, not yet. They begin positioning themselves closer, blending in with the guests, waiting for the perfect opportunity. Chad keeps everything controlled, following the plan step by step, but Alex struggles to hold himself back. Every second feels like torture to him. The idea of standing so close to the men who ruined his life without attacking them pushes him to the edge. Meanwhile, something else is happening behind the scenes. Zhang has already started suspecting that something is off. Reports about two identical men causing trouble have reached him, and he doesn't believe in coincidences. Quietly, he signals his men to keep an eye on the crowd. Without causing panic, security begins tightening. Guards subtly move into position, watching every guest more carefully. Chad notices the shift immediately. The way the guards are moving, the way certain areas are being blocked. It's clear that something has changed. He realizes that they might have been recognized or at least suspected. He quickly whispers to Alex that they need to adjust the plan and stay low. But it's already too late. One of Zhang's men spots Alex and recognizes him from previous encounters in the underworld. The moment their eyes meet, everything changes. Suspicion turns into confirmation. The guard signals others, and within seconds, the situation escalates. Chad sees it happening and knows they've been exposed. Before they can quietly escape, armed men begin surrounding them. The calm environment shatters instantly. Guests panic, stepping back as tension explodes into chaos. Zhang and Griffith step away, protected by their guards watching closely as the situation unfolds. Alex doesn't wait. The moment he realizes they're surrounded, he strikes first. He launches into action with pure aggression, taking down the nearest guard before anyone else can react. Chad follows immediately, shifting from calm observation to precise combat. What was supposed to be a stealth mission turns into a full-scale fight in seconds. The room erupts. Gunfire, shouting, and breaking glass fill the air. The brothers fight back to back, surrounded on all sides. Alex moves like a storm, hitting hard and fast, taking down enemies without hesitation. Chad moves with control, targeting weak points, avoiding unnecessary risks while still being deadly effective. Despite the chaos, their coordination is sharper than ever. They don't need to communicate, they just move, instinctively covering each other's blind spots. It's as if their connection has finally clicked under pressure. But the enemies keep coming. Zhang's men are well trained and heavily armed. More guards flood into the area, turning the situation into a near impossible fight. The brothers are outnumbered, and staying there means certain death. Chad realizes they need to escape now. He signals Alex, and together they start pushing toward an exit. It's not easy. Every step is blocked by more enemies, more weapons, more danger. Alex wants to keep fighting, to push forward and reach Zhang, but Chad forces him to focus. This is not the time for revenge, it's the time to survive. As they fight their way out, Griffith orders his men to stop them at all costs. He knows that if these two escape, they will come back stronger, and next time they won't fail. The brothers finally break through one side of the building, crashing into a hallway that leads toward the outside. But the danger doesn't end there. More guards are waiting, ready to finish what was started inside. A brutal sequence of close combat follows. The space is tight, making every move more dangerous. Alex uses his raw strength to overpower enemies, while Chad uses speed and precision to keep them moving forward. They are exhausted, injured, but still pushing. Finally, they reach the exit. Bursting out into the night, they don't stop running. Behind them, guards continue the chase, gunfire echoing through the streets. The brothers split for a moment to confuse their pursuers, then regroup at a pre-planned location where Frank is waiting. When they finally get away, the reality of what just happened hits them. The mission has failed. They didn't get close enough to take down Jang or Griffith. Instead, they exposed themselves. Now their enemies know exactly who they are, or at least enough to track them down. The element of surprise is gone. Alex is furious. He blames Chad for holding back, for not taking the shot when they had the chance. To him, that moment was everything, and they wasted it. His anger explodes, leading to another intense argument between the brothers. He wants to go back, to finish it immediately, no matter the risk. But Chad refuses. He knows that rushing in now would be suicide. Their enemies are prepared, alert, and waiting. If they attack again without a proper plan, they won't survive. Frank steps in, trying to calm both of them. He reminds them that this was never going to be easy. They are dealing with powerful men who have been controlling everything for years. One failed attempt doesn't mean the end. It means they need to be smarter. But the damage is done. Jang and Griffith are now fully aware of the threat. They begin planning their counterattack. Instead of waiting, they decide to strike first. And this is where things take a darker turn. The brothers think they have a moment to recover, to rethink their strategy, but they underestimate their enemies. Jang doesn't play defensive, he goes on the offensive. He orders his men to find everything about the twins, their connections, their weaknesses. And soon they find one. Someone close to the brothers becomes a target. As the night ends, the brothers believe they escaped death. But in reality, they've just stepped into something far more dangerous. The night after the failed mission feels heavier than anything they've faced before. The adrenaline fades, but the consequences remain. Chad sits in silence, replaying every moment in his head, analyzing where things went wrong. Alex, on the other hand, cannot stay still. His anger hasn't cooled down, it's growing stronger with every passing second. He blames the plan, he blames the hesitation, and most of all, he blames Chad. The argument between them doesn't take long to restart. Alex accuses Chad of thinking too much, of holding back when they had the perfect chance to end everything. Chad fires back, saying that rushing in blindly would have gotten them both killed. Their voices rise, tension fills the room, and for a moment it feels like they are enemies again instead of brothers. Frank steps in, but this time even he struggles to control the situation. Both of them are right in their own way, and that's the problem. One fights with emotion, the other with logic, and neither is willing to fully accept the other's approach. But while they argue somewhere else, a decision has already been made. Zhang doesn't wait. He doesn't hesitate. After the chaos at the gathering, he understands that these two are not just random troublemakers. They are a direct threat, and threats are eliminated before they grow stronger. His men begin tracking every possible connection. It doesn't take long for them to find something useful. Danielle. She is someone close to Chad, someone who represents the normal life he once had. Unlike the dangerous world they are now in, Danielle is unaware of the full situation. She becomes the perfect target, not because she is involved, but because she is vulnerable. And that's exactly what Zhang needs. Back at their hideout, things begin to calm down slightly. Chad starts focusing on rebuilding their plan, trying to find another way to reach Zhang and Griffith. He knows they won't get another chance like before, so this time everything has to be precise. Alex, still restless, finally begins to listen. Deep down, he knows Chad is right about one thing. They can't afford another mistake. Slowly, the anger starts turning into focus. For the first time, instead of arguing, they begin discussing their next move together. But just as things start to stabilize, everything is shattered again. A message arrives. It's not just a warning, it's a statement. Danielle has been taken. The moment Chad hears this, everything changes. The calm, controlled version of him disappears, replaced by something much darker. For the first time, he understands exactly what Alex has been feeling all along. The anger, the urgency, the need to act immediately. It hits him all at once. Alex sees the shift instantly. Now it's Chad who wants to rush in, but Alex stops him. For the first time, their roles reverse. Alex, who always acted without thinking, now becomes the one urging caution. He knows this is exactly what Zhang wants, to pull them into a trap driven by emotion. Frank confirms it. This is not just revenge anymore. This is psychological warfare. Zhang is testing them, trying to break them, to force them into making a fatal mistake. But doing nothing is not an option. They need a plan and they need it fast. Using Alex's connections in the underworld, they start gathering information about where Danielle might be held. It's not easy. Zhang has hidden his tracks well, and anyone connected to him is either too scared or too loyal to talk. Time is running out. Every second matters. Finally, they get a lead, a location tied to one of Zhang's operations. It's heavily guarded, isolated, and designed to keep people in or keep others out. It's exactly the kind of place where a hostage would be kept. Chad wants to move immediately. Alex agrees, but this time they do it differently. No rushing in blindly, no emotional decisions. They plan everything. Entry points, guard positions, escape routes, every detail is carefully mapped out. This isn't just a rescue mission, it's a test. If they fail, they don't just lose Danielle, they lose everything. As night falls, they move. The location is exactly as expected. Quiet on the outside but heavily secured. Armed guards patrol the area watching for any sign of intrusion. Cameras cover every angle. It's a fortress designed to stop anyone from getting in unnoticed. But the brothers are ready. Using stealth, they take down the outer guards one by one. Silent, precise, controlled. Chad leads with strategy while Alex follows with deadly efficiency. For once, there is no conflict between them, only focus. They get inside. The tension builds with every step. Hallways are dark, filled with the constant risk of being discovered. Every corner could hide an enemy. Every sound could trigger an alarm. But they keep moving deeper and deeper into the building. Finally, they find her. Danielle is alive, but barely holding on. She's been through enough to break anyone, but she's still fighting. The moment Chad sees her, the anger inside him rises again, but this time he controls it. He knows they're not out yet. They free her quickly, preparing to leave before things escalate. But just as they start moving, everything goes wrong. Alarms, lights, gunfire. It was a trap. Zhang knew they would come. Within seconds, the entire building is on high alert. Guards flood the area, cutting off exits, surrounding them from all sides. What started as a rescue mission turns into another fight for survival. But this time the stakes are even higher. They're not just fighting for themselves anymore. They're fighting to get out alive with Danielle. The brothers move fast, protecting her while fighting off wave after wave of enemies. Alex takes the lead in combat, clearing paths with brutal force, while Chad stays close to Danielle, making sure she stays safe. The pressure is overwhelming. Enemies keep coming. The exits are blocked, and Zhang is watching. From a distance, he observes everything, calm and confident. To him, this isn't a loss, it's part of the plan. He's testing them, pushing them to their limits, seeing how far they're willing to go. And just when it seems like the brothers might actually escape, something unexpected happens. A new threat enters the fight. After narrowly escaping the trap, the brothers take a moment to regroup in a safe house Frank has secured. The adrenaline is still pumping, but exhaustion is beginning to set in. Both are bruised, battered, and painfully aware that their enemies are stronger and more prepared than they imagined. Danielle sits quietly, traumatized but relieved to be alive, while Frank lays out the next step in their plan. Chad immediately focuses on strategy, analyzing what went wrong during the last encounter. He points out that their attack failed not because of lack of skill but due to underestimating the coordination between Griffith and Zhang's forces. Alex listens, but his frustration is barely contained. He wants to strike immediately to punish anyone in their path, but Chad insists they need a smarter approach this time. The brothers realize they must split responsibilities. Chad will focus on infiltration and strategy, planning how to hit the core of Zhang and Griffith's operation. Alex, on the other hand, will continue his role as the direct force, leading strikes and creating chaos when necessary. Frank emphasizes that both methods are essential. They complement each other if executed correctly. Over the next few days, Chad and Alex train relentlessly. Chad sharpens his precision and tactical combat skills, while Alex hones his raw power and street fighting techniques. They practice synchronizing movements, anticipating each other's attacks, and covering weaknesses. Slowly, a deeper level of trust begins to form. They start to move as one unit rather than two individuals, a dangerous combination their enemies have yet to anticipate. Meanwhile, their intel gathering reveals something disturbing. Zhang and Griffith are planning a large-scale operation involving international criminal networks. The operation is designed to expand their power and eliminate any threat, especially the twins. It's clear that the brothers cannot wait any longer. If they don't act soon, their enemies will become unstoppable. Frank explains that the key to reaching Zhang is not brute force but infiltration. They must penetrate the inner circle where Zhang's most trusted men operate. Only then can they gather evidence of the crimes and set up a plan to take him down decisively. The plan is risky. Failure could mean death, capture, or worse. As they prepare, the brothers discuss their pasts for the first time in depth. Chad asks Alex about his life growing up in Hong Kong, trying to understand the hardships that shaped him. Alex reluctantly opens up about betrayal, survival, and the countless people he had to fight or lose along the way. For the first time, Chad truly sees the world Alex came from, and Alex begins to respect Chad's discipline and restraint. Their bond strengthens, not just as brothers, but as warriors united by a shared purpose. Once ready, the twins begin their infiltration. Posing as middlemen, they enter a high-security compound connected to Zhang's operations. The tension is palpable. Every movement could alert the guards, every sound could trigger suspicion. They carefully navigate hallways, surveillance cameras, and armed guards, using stealth and precision learned from their training. Inside, they find crucial evidence about Zhang's and Griffith's operations, secret accounts, shipping routes, and key collaborators. It's the proof they need to dismantle the empire from within, but their success is short-lived. One of the guards recognizes Alex from past encounters, triggering an alarm. Within seconds, the compound descends into chaos. Alex reacts instantly, throwing himself into combat, while Chad moves to secure Danielle, who has accompanied them as part of the plan to maintain leverage over their enemies. They fight through corridors, disarming guards, neutralizing threats, and working seamlessly as a team. The compound becomes a battlefield, with the brothers' combined strength and strategy overwhelming anyone who stands in their way. However, Zhang and Griffith are not far behind. They arrive with reinforcements, turning the confrontation into a deadly standoff. Every exit is blocked, every route is dangerous, and the brothers must rely on wit, skill, and sheer determination to survive. The stakes are higher than ever, and failure is not an option. In the heat of the battle, Chad and Alex begin to anticipate each other instinctively. Alex creates openings with explosive attacks, while Chad capitalizes on precision strikes. Every move flows naturally, showing that months of training and shared experience have transformed them into a singular force. Even so, Griffith confronts them directly again, this time with a personal vendetta. The fight between him and the twins escalates to a brutal duel, pushing both Alex and Chad to their limits. Griffith's skill and cunning test every ounce of their strength, forcing them to combine their abilities in ways they never imagined. Meanwhile, Zhang coordinates attacks from a distance, forcing the brothers to think strategically about every decision. It becomes clear that defeating Griffith alone will not be enough. They must also take down Zhang to finally end the threat and avenge their family. The tension reaches a climax as the brothers realize they are in the eye of the storm. Their enemies are numerous, their forces powerful, and time is running out. Every second is critical, every move could be their last. And just when it seems like the brothers might finally have an advantage, a shocking twist changes everything. One of their allies is revealed to be a traitor, putting everything they've worked for in jeopardy. The revelation hits like a punch to the gut. One of Frank's most trusted allies, someone who had been helping them gather intel, is exposed as a traitor. He had been feeding Zhang and Griffith information about the twins' every move, their strategies, and even the safe house locations. Alex's anger explodes instantly. He wants to hunt this person down and make him pay on the spot. Chad, however, forces him to step back. He knows acting rashly now will only play into Zhang's hands. The twins regroup, bruised and exhausted from the relentless battles, but their focus sharpens. They realize that the betrayal is not just personal, it's tactical. Zhang has been anticipating their every step, and this insider knowledge explains why so many of their missions have been compromised. Every fight, every near escape, every ambush, they were never random. Chad insists they need a new plan. This time it must be flawless. They cannot rely solely on brute strength or instinct. They have to be smarter, more precise, and completely unpredictable. He maps out a strategy to cut off their enemies' resources and isolate Zhang and Griffith, using the traitors' information against them. Alex, while still simmering with rage, agrees because he knows Chad is right. The first step is to confront the traitor. Using stealth, the brothers infiltrate a hidden warehouse where he is meeting with one of Zhang's lieutenants. The tension is suffocating. Every shadow could conceal an enemy. Every sound could alert guards. Alex moves forward with controlled aggression, while Chad keeps track of escape routes and backup plans. They corner the traitor in a storage room filled with crates and containers. Alex doesn't hesitate. He grabs the traitor by the collar, slamming him against the wall. "Why?" he demands. "Why betray us, after everything we've been through?" The traitor smirks, cold and unrepentant. "You're nothing but pawns. Zhang and Griffith are too powerful. You can't stop them. I just made the smart choice." Chad intervenes, forcing Alex to release the man temporarily. They don't have time for interrogation in this vulnerable position. Instead, they use the traitor to lure out one of Zhang's lieutenants. It's risky, but they know the payoff is worth it. As expected, the lieutenant appears, attempting to secure the traitor's escape. Alex strikes first, overwhelming him with sheer force, while Chad follows with precise, calculated strikes that incapacitate the rest of the guards in the vicinity. With the lieutenant neutralized, the brothers extract valuable intel, documents, maps, and encrypted communication devices revealing Zhang and Griffith's next moves. The traitor is left tied and incapacitated, a warning of what happens to those who betray them, though Alex struggles to restrain his urge for vengeance. Chad reminds him that the bigger target is still ahead. Their focus must remain on Zhang and Griffith. Back at the safe house, they analyze the data. They learn that Zhang is planning to relocate his operations to a more secure facility, a high-rise corporate building with state-of-the-art security systems and a private army. Griffith is overseeing the move personally, ensuring that nothing goes wrong. The brothers realize that this is their ultimate chance to confront both enemies directly, but it will require meticulous planning and coordination. Chad lays out a multi-phase plan. First, they need to infiltrate the building unnoticed, disabling surveillance and creating distractions to split Zhang and Griffith's forces. Alex will lead the frontal assault, using his combat skills to overpower guards and create chaos. Chad will move stealthily to reach Zhang's office, gather evidence, and confront him directly. Every second must be synchronized to prevent mistakes. The night of the operation arrives. The streets outside the building are quiet, masking the storm that's about to unfold. Chad and Alex approach from separate angles, communicating silently with hand signals and subtle cues. Alex bursts through the perimeter first, taking out guards with precision and speed. Chaos erupts inside the building as alarms begin to blare. Chad infiltrates the security office, shutting down cameras and disabling alarm systems to buy Alex time. His movements are calculated, every action designed to minimize risk while maximizing effectiveness. As he navigates through hallways filled with patrolling guards, he remains calm, relying on strategy and training rather than brute force. Meanwhile, Alex encounters multiple waves of heavily armed guards. He fights with a combination of raw strength, street fighting techniques, and improvisation, taking down enemies faster than they can react. The coordination between the brothers is seamless, even though they are not physically together. Alex's aggression draws attention, while Chad moves in stealth, exploiting the chaos to approach Zhang's office undetected. Inside the executive floor, Chad finds Zhang and Griffith awaiting him. Both men are surprised but confident. Zhang smirks, knowing that his traps have been effective up until now. Griffith moves to intercept Chad, confident that his combat skills can neutralize him. Chad engages Griffith first, using precise strikes and tactical maneuvers to hold him off long enough to reach Zhang. Outside, Alex continues his assault, facing reinforcements and guards determined to prevent them from reaching the core. He fights with a relentless fury, his years of street survival giving him an edge against heavily armed adversaries. Every strike he lands creates openings for Chad, while every move Chad makes destabilizes Zhang's control over the situation. Chad confronts Zhang directly. The air is tense, both men fully aware of the stakes. Zhang underestimates Chad's skill and determination, thinking that his experience and power make him untouchable. Chad, however, is relentless. He fights with a combination of speed, precision, and intellect, exploiting Zhang's weaknesses and the chaos around them. Alex, noticing the tide turning, redoubles his efforts. He clears hallways and subdues key guards, ensuring that no reinforcements reach Zhang's location. The brothers are now working in perfect synchronization, Alex as the unstoppable force, Chad as the precise strategist. As the battle escalates, Griffith breaks through Chad's line to confront him personally again. The fight is brutal, pushing both to their physical limits. Chad relies on strategy, while Griffith relies on aggression and unpredictability. The clash is intense, with every move threatening to be lethal. Outside the office, Alex neutralizes the last wave of guards, ensuring the pathway for Chad to finish the confrontation. The building shakes with chaos, alarms blare, and the remaining enemies are either incapacitated or fleeing. Finally, Chad delivers a decisive strike, incapacitating Griffith and forcing him to retreat. Zhang, realizing his forces are collapsing and that his empire is crumbling around him, makes a desperate attempt to escape. Chad moves swiftly, cornering him in the office. Alex joins him, completing the final synchronization. Together, the brothers now have the upper hand. Zhang and Griffith are finally vulnerable. The twins exchange a brief glance, silent but full of understanding. Their bond, forged through years of separation, training, and shared struggle, has transformed them into an unstoppable force. The ultimate confrontation is about to conclude, but every second remains critical. Outside the building, Frank watches, knowing that everything they've planned, trained for, and risked is culminating in this final showdown. The night is far from over, and the true reckoning with Zhang and Griffith is imminent. The final showdown begins with the tension inside Zhang's office reaching a breaking point. Chad and Alex stand side by side, facing the two men who destroyed their family and controlled their lives for so long. The room is filled with shattered furniture, broken glass, and the echo of alarms blaring in the background. Every second feels heavier than the last. Every movement carries life or death consequences. Zhang, confident and ruthless, immediately goes on the offensive. He attacks Chad with brutal precision, using years of experience to try and overwhelm him. Chad, however, has grown far beyond his past self. He anticipates Zhang's movements, countering every strike with calculated accuracy. Each blow Chad delivers is designed to destabilize and weaken, not just physically but psychologically. Alex confronts Griffith simultaneously. The man is fast, aggressive, and skilled, but Alex's raw power and street fighting instincts give him the upper hand. He dodges attacks, delivers punishing blows, and forces Griffith on the defensive. The room becomes a whirlwind of fists, kicks, and flying debris as both sides clash with everything they have. Chad uses the environment to his advantage, leveraging tables, chairs, and walls to create openings. Zhang, underestimating Chad's adaptability, finds himself struggling to maintain control. Every precise strike from Chad lands with intent, weakening Zhang's stance and slowing his attacks. Meanwhile, Alex's battle with Griffith escalates into a violent struggle. Griffith counters aggressively, but Alex's determination fuels his strength. He blocks strikes, lands devastating hits, and maneuvers Griffith into positions where escape or retaliation is nearly impossible. The years of survival and combat experience on the streets have made Alex a force that even someone like Griffith cannot easily overcome. Outside the office, the remaining guards attempt to regroup, but the chaos inside the building has thrown their coordination into disarray. Alex and Chad's synchronized attacks make it impossible for reinforcements to reach the office effectively. Frank, monitoring the operation from a secure location, communicates critical updates to ensure the brothers maintain control of the environment. The fighting intensifies as Zhang, realizing Chad's skill and Alex's strength, begins to grow desperate. He uses cunning tactics, trying to manipulate the space around him, turning furniture and walls into obstacles for the twins. Chad remains calm, using precision and strategy to navigate the traps, while Alex continues to fight with relentless force, breaking through barriers and incapacitating anyone who stands in their way. Griffith, too, becomes increasingly desperate. He knows that if he fails to subdue Alex, their mission will collapse entirely. His attacks grow more erratic and aggressive, but Alex matches every move with a combination of brute strength and instinctual combat skill. Every strike from Griffith is met with a faster, more precise counter, and the balance of power begins to shift unmistakably toward the brothers. Chad seizes the moment to engage Zhang directly. He anticipates Zhang's final aggressive maneuvers, dodging and countering with lethal precision. Zhang's confidence begins to falter as he realizes that Chad is no longer the inexperienced man he once thought. Chad's strategy, combined with Alex's overwhelming power, makes them nearly unstoppable. The room fills with the sounds of combat, smashes, crashes, grunts, and shouts. Dust rises from broken glass and shattered walls, creating a haze that mirrors the chaos of the fight. Both brothers move in perfect coordination, covering each other's weaknesses, exploiting openings, and systematically dismantling their enemy's defenses. Griffith attempts one final counterattack, but Alex anticipates it. Using a combination of leverage and brute force, he overpowers Griffith, knocking him to the floor and rendering him incapable of continuing the fight. Chad immediately turns his full attention to Zhang, who is now cornered, exhausted, and aware that he is defeated. Zhang makes a last desperate attempt to flee, but Chad intercepts him with flawless precision, delivering a series of strikes that leave him immobilized. The twins now stand victorious side by side over the men who had caused so much pain and chaos in their lives. Frank enters the room after confirming that the remaining guards have either been incapacitated or neutralized. He sees the twins standing over Zhang and Griffith, the culmination of years of planning, training, and struggle finally reaching its conclusion. Danielle, brought to safety earlier, watches from a distance, witnessing the justice that has been served. With the enemies defeated, Chad and Alex take a moment to process what has just occurred. The tension, the anger, the years of separation, all of it culminates in a silent acknowledgement between them. They fought as brothers, and through their combined strength and strategy, they have achieved what once seemed impossible. As the dust settles, they gather the evidence and information from Zhang and Griffith's operations. This evidence will ensure that the criminal empire they built will be dismantled, and that the people responsible for countless crimes will face justice. Though victorious, the brothers understand that their lives have changed permanently. The bond they forged through battle, hardship, and mutual understanding is unbreakable. They are no longer two separate individuals shaped by vastly different experiences. They are a unified force capable of confronting any challenge together. The operation concludes with the twins emerging from the building into the streets of Hong Kong. The night air is thick with the remnants of conflict, but there is a sense of relief and accomplishment. The city, once a backdrop for chaos and violence, now bears witness to the triumph of resilience, skill, and the unbreakable bond between brothers. Chad and Alex, battered but victorious, walk side by side, knowing that while their past was filled with pain and separation, their future holds unity, strength, and the opportunity to rebuild what was lost. The threats that once dominated their lives have been neutralized, and the balance of power has shifted decisively. As they disappear into the night, it is clear that the fight has ended. But their story, the story of twin brothers reunited, forged by tragedy and strengthened by determination, will continue. They are no longer victims of circumstance, They are the masters of their destiny. The echoes of their struggle remain in the building, a testament to the relentless pursuit of justice and the unbreakable bond between two brothers who refuse to be defeated. The city streets are quiet, almost eerily so, as the aftermath of the brutal confrontation settles. Chad and Alex walk together, still bruised and bloodied, but with a new sense of purpose and unity. The chaos inside Zhang's building has ended, Griffith and Zhang are defeated, and the criminal empire that caused them so much pain is beginning to crumble. But the brothers know that victory does not mean the fight is entirely over. As they move through the dimly lit alleys, Frank catches up with them, carrying crucial documents and evidence obtained from Zhang and Griffith's operations. The information confirms the extent of their criminal network, money laundering, trafficking, and corruption reaching into some of the highest levels of power. With this evidence, law enforcement can dismantle what remains of the empire, but the twins also realize they have a personal obligation to ensure that those who suffered at Zhang's hands are given a chance at justice. Chad suggests they split up temporarily. Alex initially protests, but then agrees. They know they need to consolidate their information, ensure Danielle is safe, and contact allies who were instrumental in previous operations. While Chad coordinates the legal and strategic side, Alex returns to the streets to check on contacts, ensuring no remaining threats linger in the shadows. Their approaches differ, but the goal is the same: closure. In the following days, the twins meticulously execute a plan to dismantle Zhang and Griffith's network entirely. Chad uses the intelligence they gathered to coordinate raids and legal actions. Each operation is precise, avoiding unnecessary violence and ensuring key targets are neutralized. Alex, in contrast, uses intimidation and tactical strikes to dismantle residual criminal forces, making it impossible for any faction to regroup or retaliate. Together, they are unstoppable. During this process, the bond between the brothers continues to strengthen. Alex, who once acted purely on instinct, begins to appreciate Chad's strategic thinking and patience. Chad in turn learns to trust Alex's instincts and raw strength in critical moments. They become a seamless unit, each complementing the other's strengths and covering weaknesses, the perfect balance of mind and might. Meanwhile, Danielle begins to recover from the trauma she endured. Chad ensures her safety and gradually introduces her to the new, more stable environment they are creating. She begins to understand the depth of the twins' mission and the sacrifices they made. Her presence becomes a grounding force for both brothers, a reminder of why they fought and what they are protecting. Despite the progress, challenges remain. There are remnants of Zhang and Griffith's allies scattered across the city, individuals who are resourceful and dangerous. The twins anticipate retaliation, knowing it is only a matter of time before someone attempts to reclaim power. They prepare for this eventuality, reinforcing defenses and ensuring that the network they have destroyed cannot rise again. One night, as they survey the city from a rooftop, Chad reflects on the journey that brought them here. From separated childhoods to years of personal growth, hardship, and conflict, everything led to this moment. Alex stands beside him. The first time in years, they feel truly united, no longer defined by past anger or separation, but by shared purpose and strength. Suddenly, a signal from Frank interrupts the quiet. An informant reports a last group of Zhang loyalists attempting to regroup in a hidden location on the outskirts of the city. Chad and Alex exchange a glance, understanding that this will be the final confrontation. They move swiftly, combining stealth, precision, and raw power to intercept the Loyalists before they can mount any threat. The operation is swift and decisive. Using the skills they honed over months of conflict and training, the brothers neutralize the Loyalists, capturing key figures and ensuring that no remnants of Zhang or Griffith's empire remain to cause further harm. The final act cements their victory, bringing an end to the cycle of violence and revenge that once consumed their lives. As dawn breaks over the city, Chad, Alex, and Danielle stand together, surveying the calm streets below. The tension that once defined their existence has lifted, replaced with a sense of accomplishment and peace. They know the danger isn't entirely gone. Life will always carry challenges, but for the first time they feel in control, united, and capable of facing whatever comes next. Frank joins them on the rooftop, nodding in approval. He recognizes that the twins have not only avenged their family, but have also redefined themselves through discipline, strategy, and the unbreakable bond forged through shared struggle. There is no longer a question of separation or rivalry. They are brothers, warriors, and partners in every sense. Chad turns to Alex. "We did it," he says quietly. Alex nods, a rare smile crossing his face, a mixture of relief, exhaustion, and triumph. They have faced impossible odds, confronted the darkest elements of the city, and emerged victorious. Their mission is complete, not just for revenge, but for justice, for their family, and for the people who suffered under Zhang and Griffith's tyranny. As they descend from the rooftop and walk into the city streets, the night behind them fades into morning light. Hong Kong is still alive, vibrant, and unaware of the epic struggle that just took place in its shadows. But for Chad and Alex, everything has changed. They are no longer defined by what was lost. They are defined by what they have achieved together. The twins' story has reached its climax. The threats have been neutralized and the bond between them has never been stronger. Yet, the city continues. Life goes on and their vigilance remains. They have proven that unity, strategy, and unyielding determination can overcome even the most insurmountable obstacles. In the quiet aftermath, Chad and Alex walk side by side, ready for whatever the future holds. Their past may have been filled with pain, loss, and separation, but their future is theirs to command. Together they have rewritten their destiny, forged in fire, strengthened by blood, and bound forever by the unbreakable connection of brotherhood. The night silence stretches over the city, a calm after the storm, signaling the end of one battle and the readiness for whatever comes next. The twins have emerged victorious, and the world, though unaware, has witnessed the rise of a force unlike any other. Two brothers, united, unstoppable, and prepared to face anything.